Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So today, I'm feeling a lot of fear. In fact, a lot of people in the live chat just commented about all the bears that was attending Benjamin Cohen's live stream, and how he declared it's a bear market, or we are in recession, right? But I'm here to say, do not be bearish. I'm going to tell you how Bitcoin will perform in a recession. And more importantly, I have something to show you guys that will take that bearishness out of your mind. So let's get started. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. 3 streams almost every day. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Follow me on social media. Check out CryptosRUs.com. And make sure you follow me at my new channel, CryptosRUs Clips. New content every single day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully you guys are doing well. I know today is not a good day. It feels awful. Bitcoin is at 38.3, and I know it feels awful whenever we make any kind of recovery and we come right back down. I know it feels like it. I know it feels like we're in a bear market and recession is here and nothing good could come from this, right? That's why I'm having this stream. And you know, today the stock market got absolutely slaughtered once again. Hubert, welcome. Welcome, welcome. You know, the stock market got absolutely slaughtered, down negative 800 points. I don't know where NASDAQ was, probably negative 400. Futures are indicating a little green tomorrow because Microsoft had good earnings, but Alphabet had horrible earnings. In fact, YouTube had horrible earnings. Robinhood is cutting 9% of their employees, and Tesla went down 12%. So it's not just crypto today. Just everything was bad. Okay? Not good. Not good at all. So I know a lot of people are feeling very bearish right now, like, oh, recession must be coming, and there's nothing good, and I need to get out of the market, and I get it. I get it. Okay, but I'm here to say I am not getting out of the market. I still am going to hold strong, and I believe everyone else that's already in this space should as well. And I'm going to explain why. All right, first of all, I don't know if you guys knew this. Satoshi Nakamoto sent his final public message 11 years ago and disappeared. Whether or not Satoshi was just one person or a 3-person group, we don't know. But the very last communication from Satoshi was 11 years ago. And Satoshi created something not to help people make money. He actually created Bitcoin to basically get us away from the corruption and centralization and censorship of the big banks and the evil corporations of the world, right? That's why it was created. He created the very first decentralized network. He created proof of work, a hashing algorithm, right? That continues to power Bitcoin today. And I don't think he even imagined how big it would become in, 11 years, 12 years time, right? It has definitely continued without Satoshi. It has executed, it has basically fulfilled his vision and continues to do so. I just want to remind you guys of that, right? And Bitcoin, we are seeing, is being adopted for these very reasons, right? Look at all the stuff that's happening, a lot of services that's being banned, a lot of financial services being cut, right? You could send Bitcoin across the world on Lightning Network in seconds. No one's there to stop it, right? So it's being proven right now, right in front of us. And this is important because during a time like this, you may think, well, that's all good and all, but I need to just cut my losses because things are getting bad and they look like they're going to get worse and I need to get out of the market, right? But, you know, the market tends to surprise people. And I've been in this for a long time, not just Bitcoin since 2013, but also been through the 2000 dot-com bubble, 2008 housing bubble, right? the recession, the very, very quick recession of 2020, the Black Swan event, right? Been through a lot of these times. And, one thing I've learned is whatever you try to outsmart the market, whenever you try to time top or bottom, you usually get burned. And things are unexpected, like 2021. A lot of people thought 2021 was actually going to be horrendous because of what happened in 2020. Turned out to be one of the greatest years ever recorded in history in terms of investments, right? Every investment went up crazily in 2021. Yet, most of Wall Street lost money in 2021 and couldn't even outperform the S&P 500. So it goes to show you that a lot of these traders, a lot of Wall Street, a lot of hedge funds, they don't really know what they're doing. They're just kind of guessing, right? But the long-term investors, the ones that's been holding, they have made a tremendous amount of gains, right? But going back to Bitcoin, how will Bitcoin survive in a recession, right? If everything's going down, how will it survive? Well, I happen to see this very, very, very interesting kind of section. And this is 100% true, and it goes back to fulfilling Satoshi's vision of having this global decentralized network, right, that's used by everyone. It's a non-sovereign network, not controlled by any centralized entity, right? And that's important. And that's the difference between crypto and stocks. Because if you think about it, stocks are based on profits, right? Profits and basically potential growth. So if you look at companies that exist right now, right, they have quarterly results, which I cover, right? It's based on PE ratio, how much profits, how much earnings, right? But when it comes to Bitcoin and other crypto, it's not about profits because what profits are there? There's no profits for Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin as a network, how do you measure its value? Well, through its growth of the network and brand loyalty, in this case, just basically awareness, right? How many people know about Bitcoin these days? Almost everyone, right? At least heard of Bitcoin. May not understand it, but they heard of it. And we know the network growth is growing by leaps and bounds. That has not stopped. Continues to grow. And the thing is, despite the fact that it is growing tremendously, it is still so early. So early if you verse any other technological advancement or network that we had over the last decade or so, right? So here's one that's comparing Bitcoin's adoption versus the internet. And a lot of people forget that the internet didn't start out so hot. And it took many, many decades before the internet got to where it is today. And the way Bitcoin is going, kind of the same way, except it's nowhere close. Nowhere close to the peak, just like the internet, right? So it's very, very early. Despite all the growth that we've had with the Bitcoin network and Lightning Network, it's still so early. And it's still growing by leaps and bounds. Okay? Here's another one. I mean, it's very complicated, but compares not only to the internet, but compares to telephones, broadband, mobile phones, munization, motor vehicles, I mean, railroads per mile. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here, right? Some of these took hundreds of years to get to where Bitcoin is. Hundreds of years, decades, and look at how fast adoption is on a grand time scale, how fast adoption is for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Again, it is growing by leaps and bounds, yet it is still so early. Here's one from Will Komet, talking about current adoption versus global adoption of the world. He didn't really explain further. He says he's working on further, but I do believe this is accurate. We are so early, and this is why we need to be in the game. Because who wouldn't want to be invested in internet companies in 1990, right? Well, in hindsight, of course, everyone says yes, but during that time in 1990, we had a lot of companies go up and down. The price fluctuates. A lot of them went bankrupt. But the ones that withstood the volatility, the ones that are still around, well, guess what? they're Apple and Amazon and Microsoft, right? The big tech companies of the world, they started in the 90s and now they are the global behemoths of the world, right? So bottom line is this. Yes, we'll have bad days. We'll have bad days. Yes, maybe even the economy does go into a recession. I definitely think there will be economic slowness this year. I don't know about a full-blown recession because governments are still not looking for that, okay? They are still being very careful with their rate hikes and their balance sheet reduction. They're going to do it in a very basically careful manner because they know they don't want to throw things in a recession, right? So with that said, even though we will have economic slowness to try to taper inflation, right? I don't think we're going to have the same kind of full-blown panic or fear that we did maybe in 2008, 2020, or 2000, I should say, okay? And even if we did, Bitcoin is still growing by leaps and bounds. It's still early, and every day I talk about new countries, new businesses, new billionaires that is coming aboard, right? They are still all adopting. And by the time we get up here, this is really stretching out, right? This is really stretching it out. A lot of us will not be around in 2102. I realize that. But you get my point, right? Even where we are now, as big as we think Bitcoin is, as globally accepted as Bitcoin is, it's really not. And that's why we need to be in the game. Because all the growth, really, majority of the growth of Bitcoin, I still believe, is ahead of us, not behind us. And if you do get feared out by a lot of fudders or fear of whatever, a bear market, fear of recession, or just other people just telling you that it's good to be fearful, well, then you're going to lose out on all this tremendous gains, okay? That's why I'm here, and that's why I'm going to stay bullish. I'm going to be in the game because I believe we have a lot more to grow, okay? And just to add on top of this, I know there's a lot of forward-looking, but what about right now, right? There's two particular things I'm paying attention to that are really, really important when it comes to Bitcoin, right? When it comes to growth and adoption, how can you measure it, right? There's two really simple ones. Actually, I'll throw three simple ones. Number one, let's take a look at the miners. Are the miners giving up on the network? If the miners give up on the network, we'll have big problems. We will, that's for sure. So are the miners giving up on the network? The answer is no. And you could see in terms of hash rate, we are at all-time high. In fact, the miners are doing the opposite. They're spinning up more mining machines at this point. So that's very important. The miners are not giving up. That means the network will continue to be strong, right? And that will not change in 2022. All right, what about the holders? Are they selling? No, they're not. In fact, the number of holders, the supply that's being held over 1 year is, in fact, at an all-time high. So are the holders selling? No. So if the miners, who actually control the most Bitcoin, if you think about it, and produce the most Bitcoin, are not selling, and the long-term holders are not selling, well, then who the hell is selling, right? It's institutions, the ones that are panic selling because what's going on with the markets, and maybe some whale manipulation. You add that in there, you sprinkle that in there, right? But long-term holders and miners not going to go away. So the network will continue forward. The adoption will continue forward. The DCAing will continue forward, right? These are very important things to look at. Very important things. And I'll throw a third thing in there, which is really telling of the story right now, right? And that is net flow of the exchanges. And you know what? I don't think anyone picked this up because I just saw it, and I don't think anyone saw this. But look at the very right side. I'm going to remove my camera. Look at what has happened right there. Someone just bought $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Exactly, basically, at our low right now. Right? So that is also important because you still have massive amount of buying going on behind the scenes. So I'm just going to throw that in there. Right? So there are still a lot of institutions that are buying by the billions and removing Bitcoin from circulation. That's also very telling. Do you see more greens on this chart? This goes back, several months. No, there's a lot more red, which means a lot more Bitcoin is being bought and removed. So these three things are very telling of what's really happening, right? I know almost everyone concentrated just the price. I know, I get it. But if you really measure what's happening behind the scenes, Bitcoin is as healthy as ever. In fact, you could argue it's the healthiest it's ever been. And this is what I really look forward to. So bottom line is this, okay? When you have recession, when you have a bear market, when you have volatility, right? There will be people that will be spooked. They're always spooked. And they will always make irrational decisions, right? But you don't want to be one of those people. You want to learn from your previous mistakes like I have. If you're going to be in Bitcoin and crypto and you want to win at this game, then you need to have patience, continue to look at the future, continue to realize that we are still so early in this game, and it'll be silly for me to be selling right now, right? And basically, continue to HODL and DCA. Really that simple. Really that simple. And I just noticed this too. A lot of people made a big deal and FUD about this third biggest Bitcoin wallet. Supposedly it's Michael Saylor selling, which is nonsense. But this wallet did sell 1,500 Bitcoin recently. But guess what? He's buying Bitcoin back up another 300 and 500, right? And let's not forget all the other Bitcoin that this wallet holds, which is adding up to 124,000 Bitcoins, right? So I made this argument, even if this was Saylor's or Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy's wallet, so what if he sold a little bit? Because he still controls 125,000 Bitcoins, right? He is a long-term holder, but that's speculation. It is not his wallet. That was just fear-mongering, fear spreading, right? By one individual account. So I'm not even going to talk about who it is. But, you still have big long-term whales / holders that are still buying, and they're not giving up either. So all of these things are very, very important. All right, that's what I want to really talk about. There's not a whole lot of news since this morning. I just know that there's just a lot of fear overall. And there's a lot of people just, keep spreading more fear and declaring that it's a recession, it's a bear market, Bitcoin's going to go down to 20,000, Bitcoin's going to go down to 10,000, just spreading a lot of guesses, okay? But the only thing you can control is what you're going to do, right? Are you going to fall for it? Are you going to panic sell? Or are you going to stay strong and stay in the game? That's really what it comes down to, right? All right, last thing has nothing to do with Bitcoin, but I thought it was kind of funny / important. We know that Ripple is still fighting the SEC, and Brad Garlinghouse just did an interview with Bloomberg where he said his company is operating as if it already lost. I don't know if that's a good thing to say. I know what he's trying to say. Like, hey, you know what? Basically he's saying most of the clients, most of the transactions are overseas, right? So it really doesn't matter about the U.S. But I don't know if that's just something good to declare. Like, okay, we're going to operate as if we already lost, which sounds like they gave up already, right? I know that's not what he's really trying to say, but it just doesn't look good. The optics of it isn't the greatest, but just thought I'd throw that out there. All right, outside of that, today, not a good day. Most altcoins are in red, right? That's kind of to be expected, but it's not just crypto. Stocks got hammered. tech got hammered, Tesla got hammered, everything got hammered, right? I know, and days like today hurt, right? But if you're gonna be in this game, you gotta know it always happens. You gotta find a way to live through it, get through it, and if you have the ability, continue to DCA. Because that is how you win. You buy low and you sell high, and you buy when other people are fearful. That's it. That's it. Oh, I had my camera off this whole time. Oh man, that if you don't see the seriousness in my face, then the message is not as good. Unfortunately, you guys missed out on that. I'm sorry. I removed my camera when I was trying to show that chart, but anyways, let's do some Q&A. I apologize. Technical difficulties. Had my camera off here. Hellcat. I need to have a lemonade stand on the weekends to DCA more. You gotta do what you gotta do, right? If you don't have money on the side saved for DCAing, you gotta hustle, man. Work a little more. Get a side job, right? Get a little overtime. I don't know, do whatever it takes, right? It's just that simple. There's always people that tell me, George, I'm out of money. I get it. Sometimes you put a little bit too much, or you didn't take profit, or you just don't have anything on the side. You know what? If you're like that, okay, you continue to hodl. The second best move is continue to hodl and just wait until things come back, which they always do. But if you have the ability to, generate some extra money, right? So you have the ability to DCA or buy the dip, that's even better. Yeah, since I'm trying to save all my money, so I'm not buying Blue Label anymore. I'm just drinking Heineken. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just joking. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just trying to avoid getting drunk at night. It's not good for my health, so that's the reason why. All right. What else? What else did I miss? Tech review, I appreciate that. I do. I try to do what I can. I do what I can, share from my own mistakes, and help people understand that this is a long-term game. This is not short-term. Short-term, maybe some get lucky, but most do not and end up losing. It's a long game. But if you versus anything else, it's the shortest game out there. So that's the beauty of Bitcoin and crypto too. How come ADA is going so low when over 70% is staked? Because there's still 30% left out there, right? Most people don't understand, but the price that we see, like right now, 38.3, and everything I listed on CMC is basically on exchanges, right? This is going off the order books on Coinbase and Binance and so forth. And think about this, even like in the case of Cardano, let's just say 99% of Cardano is staked, and you have 1% left on exchanges, and that 1% is still trading at 83 cents. Well, then it's going to show 83 cents. But it'll be ridiculous to value Cardano or ADA at 83 cents when 99% of it is staked and locked up, right? So that's another way to look at it. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. Vast majority of Bitcoin is not on exchanges. Very little of it is on exchanges. And very little of a lot of these crypto is also on exchanges. But how do you measure something that is not being traded, right? It's very hard to. So you have to value it based on the order books of what people are basically buying and selling it at. However, when it comes to like something like Bitcoin, you got to think the value is a lot higher than what is showing, because vast majority, okay, is not on exchanges. In fact, I think last time I saw it was only about 6%, 6 or 8% of the overall circulating supply is on exchanges. That means 94% is off and not moving at all. I mean, just think about it that way. Who is the girl in the commercial? I need to. Her name is Gina. I don't know what her last name is. I actually do, but I don't know off the top of my head. But it's Gina something. Danny, I'm glad that makes sense, right? I mean, you're measuring this based on the last trade. Even if 99.9% of the circulating supply is gone and off the exchanges, but if the last trade on the exchange is at that price, well, it's going to show that price, right? But then there'll be a really ridiculous way to value, projects like that. Is today Wednesday already? No. DCA on me this week. Crypto been killing. Hey, that's a large super chat. I appreciate that. I really appreciate your support. I've seen you in the chat for many, 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 I don't know if it's months or years, but I do appreciate it. I have a good time in Miami. I was okay. I attended a couple parties. Overall met a lot of fans in the stadium or convention center, right? So overall, it was good. It was a good experience. No, nothing too out of the ordinary. Man, I haven't had anyone ask me about Luxo for a while. Last time I heard, they were still working on their chain. So, created by one of the guys who's behind Ethereum, not a founder, but one of the important guys that created the ERC standard. So he was going to develop a new ERC standard on Luxo. But they're really into fashion, right? He partnered up with some fashion partner, and last time I heard, they were still not done with their chain. Would you dump your BTC for Doge? No, I would not. Great channel when dot. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean. Do I like dot? Yes, I do. Why can't people sell on OTC to keep the price from tanking? Sorry, I'm dumb. I don't understand. You don't understand. They're selling on purpose to tank. That's what I think you're missing the point there. The whales that want to manipulate the market, the ones that want to cause liquidations to happen, the ones that want you to sell, they don't want to sell on the OTC. They're doing it on derivative exchanges. They're doing it on spot exchanges on purpose, so they can buy when things are low. So it's not like let's say if MicroStrategy ever decide to sell Bitcoin, right? They're not going to sell on Binance or Coinbase. They're going to sell on OTC market because they're not trying to crash the price. But the ones that are manipulating the market, they are purposely doing it on the exchanges, right? That's the reason, Simple Green. Jedi, appreciate it. I don't remember which question, but I'm glad I answered it. Solomon, appreciate that too. Bear market, what coins do you have your eyes on? Armin Hammer asked. It's the same ones I keep talking about. I don't sway away from them because I still believe they're the best holds, best ones to DCA, and they will have the best recovery. And you start out, I'm just going to go in the top like 15 or 20, but of course you start out with Bitcoin. You never go wrong with Bitcoin, Ethereum, even BNB, Solana, Terra, Avalanche. You could throw Cardano in there, Polkadot, Polygon, right? And I'm going to round it out with Near and Cosmos, right? I think all of these are fantastic L1s. They will continue to do well. They have a ton of money in their treasury. They will continue to bring more dApp makers to their ecosystem, grow their DeFi offerings, and will continue to execute. So you can't go wrong with them. And of course, you can't go wrong with Bitcoin. No, I didn't forget Litecoin. And I didn't forget XRP. No, I can't make a Gina NFT without her permission. No. Ape is actually holding up very, very well. I mean, everyone is basically holding and buying Ape until the other side, Metaverse, comes out, but it has held extremely well. Extremely well. Impressively well. The question mark will be what happens when the Metaverse comes out, right? Will continue people to ape into it or not? That's the question. Have you looked into PokeT decentralized infrastructure? AWS has amazing passive income potential back from back Web 3.0. There's a lot of projects that sound like that. Pocket Network. They're actually a decent market cap. I've never heard of them, I don't think. Or maybe I have. Rely on a protocol. So you could tap into nodes of many chains. Yeah, so they're like a decentralized, like what you said, decentralized hosting, basically, right? I mean, there's a few projects out there that's like this. What is it? Akash Network, Flux. They're kind of like this. I've never heard of this Poked Network, but you know, decent market cap. And if you're saying they have passive income for staking their native tokens, then great. But I don't know much about them. What Litecoin debacle, man? You know, every 4th of July, no, I mean not 4th of July, every April Fool's Day, you know, I do a video, you know, where I pretend like I'm going all in, or one of my, you know, disliked coins becomes my favorite coin. I did it on Litecoin last year, and people did not like that. And I did it on XRP this year, and people didn't like that either. I don't know. I will continue to do so. Yeah. Is it time to swap Bitcoin for Ape? No, you don't want to do it, especially when it's unknown. In 4 days, when the metaverse comes out, you just don't know if it's buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event where it just goes down afterwards. Just don't know if that's going to be the case. But if you don't hold any Ape and you want to just add some to your portfolio, I think they're going to have a good long-term future, right? I just don't know what's going to happen after this metaverse. Dusty asked about Cadena, Cosmos, Near, Dot, more down than down, great buys. Yes. Basically the ones I just mentioned, except Cadena is outside of the top 20. But yeah, I definitely agree. Any thoughts on Guard Soloway's 20K prediction and that BTC chart that looks like Amazon? I don't follow the guy. I know a lot of people have been saying that he is claiming some blood diamond and everything's going to go to hell. I don't know. I don't follow him. I don't watch his charts. What I do know is this: over the past 4 or 5 years, a lot of great, supposedly, TA guys, analysts, would do a lot of fancy drawing and tell you this must happen. And then guess what happens? It didn't happen, right? That's why I always say, when it comes to TA, 50-50. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But whenever there's people that's very, very, very adamant about how something must happen, tends to go the other way. So, I don't know. I don't know what he said. I don't watch the stream. I'm sorry. Finally, Teresa says, finally managed to secure 1 year Lego NFTs. Thank you and congratulations. Keep up the good work. Love your elocution words on your video this morning. I don't even know what that means, but I appreciate it though, Teresa. I do. Thank you. And thanks for being a member too. Anchor Protocol, 90% still legit. Yeah, I still have a ton of UST staked in Anchor. Still collecting sweet 19.5 rewards. Migs, I do remember you. I do remember you. And I appreciate your support over the years. Plan B went on an unplanned vacation. Do you really? Or are you just joking? Dusty, thank you. Appreciate that. Do you think 50K or 30K will happen first? Ooh, that's a good question. Let's zoom out a little bit. We would have to fall all the way down here to get 30K. We would retouch basically July 2022, or we could go to 50K, which we recently came very, very close to doing. But if you look at 30K is only 8,000 away, 50K is 12,000 away. I still think I'm going to go with we hit 50K before we hit 30K. And if we do hit 50K before we hit 30K, then I think we'll never hit 30K again. I'll just go out on a limb and say that. Because if we do rally back and we never hit 30K and we continue up to 50K, we may come back down, but we're not going to come down to 30K anymore. So I think we're going to hit 50K first. And if we do, we'll never hit 30K again. What crypto credit card should I get? I mean, there's a lot out there. I know Coinbase came out theirs, Gemini came out theirs, but of course, the granddaddy of them all is the one from BlockFi. So I would, and since BlockFi is a partner, I would say go with the BlockFi one. All right, guys, I'll let you go. I'm going to finish my Heineken and enjoy my night, and hopefully you guys do too. But you know what? Today's session, not meant to bash anyone, not trying to discredit anyone. I am just sharing from my heart what I think is going to happen, right? Which is Bitcoin will continue forward. Its adoption is early. Its growth is very, very, very early in the grand scheme of things. It's going to continue forward. And the measurable things that are important that measures the holders and the network and the miners, and more importantly, the buying behind the scenes, they're all pointing upwards. So I am staying strong. I hope you guys too. Stay with me on this journey because there's a lot more coming. All right, so stay strong, my friends. I will see you guys tomorrow, 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, have a good one, guys. Have a good night. And by the way, hey, if you're interested in this this interview, Brad was speaking about as if they already lost. I actually have it downloaded, so take a look.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.